Hey guys, it's Allison here, and I have a bit of a bonus video this month. Because, I'm not busy enough doing the load, I decided to sign up for Shimelle's latest class. It's called Clear the Desk. And it's all about getting rid of older lines in preparation for all the new lines coming in. And I don't know if I'm going to be purchasing any of the new lines. I'd like to, but I'm not really working right now, so I don't think my husband's gonna go for that. Anyways, first prompt was to gather a set of supplies and using her directives, scrapbook with them. So that's what I'm gonna do, and because this is not a load prompt, I feel I have liberty to scrapbook different photos. And so I'm actually going to be scrapbooking photos in my kids' school photos, which I haven't done yet. I might as well show you the supplies that I've pulled out. I'll start with the papers. And there was jumping off paper, which is this one, which is from Shimelle's Little by Little. The back side is a black and white little looks like a bird beak to me. Little V's. So this one is called A to Z. And from there, my next choice was actually this one, which is from Simple Stories, Carpe Diem. But I felt like the colors related really well. The back side is black and it has these lovely pencils, so I could always bring that in as an accent for these school photos. And then I was pulling out some of the individual colors from the paper here. So I've got a red, a yellow. Oh, sorry. This one is from Gossamer Blue. This one is from Little by Little as well. It's called Cultivate Joy. And then I've got pink. This is Pink Paisley. Sorry, it's not Pink Paisley. This is Studio Calico 7 paper. My bad. And then I've got a turquoise. And this is from Starshine, Rosetta. And I can also pull in the blue. And because I'm a rule breaker, I actually have a bonus one. This is from a 12 by 12 paper pad that since I had so few pages left in it that I just pulled them out and stuck them in with all my other papers. So this is a crepe paper pad. This was a Maggie Holmes collection. I can't remember which one. It might have been her very first one, but I've been hoarding this paper because I love it. And it's just single-sided. And then no, that wasn't it. Oh, that was all the rule breaking I did. I just have one extra sort of solid colors. That's the blues. And then she wanted us to get a black and white. So I actually have two. I have this one, which my daughter's wearing a black and white polka dot dress in the photos, so I may or may not use that. So that might be a little bit too matchy. And this is from Little by Little as well. It's Grow Happy. And then I have this one specifically for my eldest daughter's photos because she has glasses. She doesn't wear them all the time, and she's not wearing them in the photos. But I thought a little strip of this would be appropriate. This is from Echo Park's Paper and Glue, called Library Card. And then a neutral, I have this gray, which also has a couple of more black and white images. And this is from Amy Tangerine's +1. This is called Pure. And then something that we can cut apart. So this is a Pink Paisley sheet. And I liked all these circles that I could easily add as embellishments, and the sayings work. So this is Paige Evans. I think this might be Paige's very first collection with Pink Paisley. And then the other side just has more circles but without the words. So those are my papers. And then the embellishments I pulled out, I've got these layered embellishment stickers from My Mind's Eye Collectible, which I'd clearly cut this one out to use on a layout and didn't. So this is a full pack. I've got these puffy stickers from American Crafts. I believe they match the Crate Paper Balloon collection. And then I've got 2 of Shimelle's sticker books. This is from True Stories, I believe. I think one came in a Gossamer Blue kit, and then I had already purchased the other one. And then I've got these from Pink Paisley Hey Kit. Obviously I can't use the Oh Boy because I have girls, but I could cover that with something because it's got a good color match. I've got these cork circles from Gossamer Blue, Gramercy wrote, and some more puffy stickers from Gossamer Blue. And then I've got a pack of letter stickers from Simple Stories, the Snap. They're supposed to go in planners, but I don't use them in planners, so. Okay, that's where we're starting. So one of Shimelle's suggestions as a starting place for this particular set of supplies is actually the very first pattern paper that we picked out, which for me was this alphabet paper. And her reasoning was sometimes, you know, she'll pull a color scheme together from one particular piece of paper, but then not actually use that piece of paper. So I decided to just go along with what she was suggesting and start with this giant alphabet. And it does work for school pictures, so that's good. So I have chosen one of the 5x7 prints, as well as a couple of sort of wallet sizes that they have a slightly different pose, so they sort of work well together. And then my daughter's name is Christine, so I really want to keep that letter C visible that's in the top left of the paper. But because the paper is so busy, we need a couple of mats behind the photo. So I've gone with yellow first. I think that really plays off well against the blue background in the photo. And then a slightly larger mat of the pink. And that just gives a nice soft element, pulls out all the pink, and you know, my girls love pink, so there you go. And the 2 little pictures need a mat as well, and I'm going to try and bring in those colored pencils in some way, shape, or form, but I can't just put the pictures on top of them, so I mat them with the same yellow that I used for the larger photo, but I'm not matting them straight onto the paper. They're overlapped and just slightly crooked. And now I'm trying to figure out how to get those pencils on without it being this giant block of black, basically. And I eventually decide to use the pencils horizontally instead of vertically, and then have it cut in such a way that I have one full pencil above and one below the pictures. So now I'm ready to glue my major pieces down, and I accidentally stuck down that pencil bit a bit too high when I do eventually stick it to the paper. I sort of forgot where I had placed it, I guess. But the adhesive I used doesn't really allow me to pull it up again. And that's where I discovered it, because I was trying to line up that big, so that the big letter C was still showing, but you could still see the pencils. Anyways, we just got to roll with these kind of mistakes, right? But I don't think the placement's too horrible. And now I am working on my embellishment. So I'm starting with that cut apart paper that I pulled out, and I'm choosing some of the circles for their color and their sayings. And I've decided to pull some of the sort of turquoisey blue, some yellow, and then a couple of the light pink patterns. They don't have words on them, I just chose them for the patterns. And I could fussy cut these, but to be honest, my fussy cutting when it comes to circles really sucks. So I would way rather use my dies to get a proper circle. So I just pull out my Big Shot and using my nested dies, find one that fits the circles and cut them all out that way. And I will save you watching me cut out however many circles that was. So now I'm just figuring out some placements. A couple of them are only half circles, and that was on purpose so that I could tuck them in beside the element. And then that one on the top left, the yellow, is going to be right against the edge of the paper. And then that way it relates to how the pencils have been placed, which is right against the edge of the page. And I'm going through all the different embellishments that I've pulled out to see which ones I want to add. And the pink paisley ones come on that clear acetate backing, so I've just cut them out with the backing in place still, and they are placed on the page approximately where I want them, but not glued down. And now I'm working on title, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put it. And I realize that the paper is so busy that there's not really a good place to place it on there, and I don't really want to add another bit of paper. But there's a lot of empty space in the photograph, and I know that I have plenty of these photographs, and in fact I have the digital download so I can print off as many as I want, so I'm not worried about covering up a tiny corner of the photo. So I'm using the yellow letter stickers from the Snap collection, and then I wanted a different size, shape, color for the 3, and so I had gone into my stash and pulled out that big one. It's actually fabric, so that's why it took me a little time to get it in place. It's a little bit finicky. And then I had put it on the plastic wrapper just to see if I wanted it aligned, sort of centered under the word grade, or aligned to the left, and I decided to center it. And now I'm just gluing all my circles in place, and the chipboard embellishments as well. And I'm looking for more embellishments, but I also realize that I need to add some journaling. Oh, first I'm going to add the date. That's right, because even though I know the date right now, 10 years from now I will probably have forgotten. So I have the matching number set to these letter stickers, and I want to put 2017/18 as my date, but there's no slashes. So I take a Z and just trim it to make it a slash. So now I'm getting my journaling card in place, and on the back of that pattern paper with all the eyeglasses is a whole lot of colored squares of sort of library cards, basically. So I cut out the light blue one, and it is slightly too tall as is, so I cut off the top where it makes it like a library card. So now it just looks like lined paper. And I start to fill in my journaling, and I add her age and her teacher's name, although one of her teachers has a kind of odd name, so I'm not totally sure how to spell it. I need to look it up. So I just leave that blank, and then I want her to add in her journaling, not in her handwriting. I'll write it in, but I need to ask her the questions, so I put in favorite subject and then BFFs, and then leave the rest of it blank so she can fill it in later. And now it's just a matter of doing all the final embellishments. So I go to that puffy sticker sheet and I pull out a couple of things. That little tab, I can't remember what it says. And then I had a little plus sign that I was moving around. It didn't make it on the layout at that point, but it does eventually make it onto the layout, and you'll see that in the close-ups at the end. And then I'm going through the True Story sticker book here, and there are several sort of strips at the back that have multicolored strips. And some of them are in the colors that work. So this one's got the teal and the yellow and a bit of sort of black and white. And I end up cutting it in half so that I can use it in two different areas, sorry. And I took one of the words that said special, I believe, and put that on pop dots. The other word banners were in silver foil, and I didn't want to add silver to this, so I left those alone. And now I'm just adding Yeah, I had to rip everything up to add that other strip underneath it. And then this one gives me a little bit of trouble. I'm trying to find a placement for it, and I just can't. Eventually I put it back in the book because I just can't find a proper home for it. And then this one was half of a banner that was still in the book. So I popped up the end of it and then glued the torn end underneath the photo and then flat to the page so that you couldn't tell that it was torn out. And so then I gave up on that last strip and put it back in the sticker book. Now I'm going back to the pink paisley chipboard and I'm adding a couple more pieces. I feel like this area above the little photos needs a little bit more. And there are these 3 chipboard buttons. One is teal, one is pink, and one is black and white. So I think they can work on my page. And I grabbed some hot pink sort of floss kind of. It's not really twine or thread or anything like that. It's hard to describe. And I just thread it through and tie some bows and add those into 3 different places. And as a final touch, I need something that is a little bit shiny. So I find some light blue gems in my stash and I sprinkle those around. And that is where I'm going to call it done. Obviously the layout's not completely finished because my journaling is not finished, but I will talk to my daughter as soon as I see her and get her to fill that in for me. So here's some close-ups of the finished layout. It's fun and colorful, just like her. There's a reason that I have pulled out so much of the yellow, besides that the letter C is in yellow. She has always been like a little ray of sunshine to us, and so I always try to use yellow when I'm scrapbooking about her. So it just seemed to be appropriate here to have so much yellow. Alright guys, thank you so much. I'm really enjoying this class so far, even though I'm only 1 day in. And I will come back and keep doing this for all the rest of the layouts. So thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.